So we're sitting here in front of the Abu Simbel temples in Egypt today. And what I want to go into with you is a video on the topic of non-resistance, and specifically non-resistance when it comes to any kind of social interaction that you're in, any kind of social environment, and specifically when it comes to the topic of confidence. Because in the end of the day, what I found now over the last, it's actually coming up to 6 years now of working on my own confidence, and also over the last couple of years, the last 3 years about helping other people with that, non-resistance, and I'm going to go into what that actually is and how you can apply it to your life in order to make yourself more confident, and with that improve your life in whatever area. I mean the social area, obviously, from my experience, also the other ones. But from what I've seen, non-resistance is one of the biggest keys to becoming more confident. Okay? So what this really is about is that if you look at it, if you're in any kind of social environment, okay, or any kind of situation where you might want to talk to people, whether you're trying to network with somebody or date somebody or whatever it is, or we're trying to make a video, or like dick around in front of Egyptian temples and make a video, whatever it is, you probably have felt it before, that you can't just be fully you, right? Like, let's just be honest for a second here. Are you really fully you? Really? My guess would be, and you can reflect on this yourself, I don't want to put anything on you, but my guess would be, probably you're not. And how I know this is that, well, working with myself on this and also helping other people through it, several clients, all the same pattern of feeling like they have to change themselves in order to live up to any kind of expectation, to expectations from other people. Feeling like you have to change yourself in order to get approval from others. Now that, if you really look at it, what is it if you try to put on a mask in order to get approval or in order to get liked by other people? What that is in the end of the day is simply you resisting what you would really want to do. It's you resisting, as I resist the urge to blink because I'm almost staring into the sun. But it's you resisting your authentic version, your most authentic version. The version that you really want to express right now. Now, that might come up in different forms, and we're going to get into how you can let go of that resistance and move into a state of non-resistance where it just flows out of you. And by the way, I can give you a hint already. That's where your life gets really good. As I keep resisting the urge to blink and resist the fucking flies around me. Okay, non-resistance, Samuel. Okay. But coming back to it, forgetting what I was talking about, don't resist it, right? That's funny enough, that's a good topic, right? Not resisting if you forget what you talk about. But in the end of the day, what it really is you resist the natural flow of energy that would want to come out of you. Now, why that is that in your childhood, specifically, and I talk about this in several videos on this channel, but you can always go into it again. It's always be good to be reminded, or in case you're new. But in your childhood, what you learn is, because you get brought up in a society, we live in a society, we live in a society, the classic thing, right? But because of that, there are certain rules, certain ways that are acceptable and unacceptable. This might be dependent on your culture. Funny enough, I don't know how much I want to get into race on this platform, right? It can be dicey, but I tend to attract a lot of Asian clients, and there's also a lot of patterns with that. But so it can be dependent on the culture in general that you get brought up in, or in general the society that you live in. But whatever it is for you, or it can also just be the general social environments that you get brought up in, right? Because it can also just be the same thing as it would be for somebody that gets brought up in a certain culture where, say, it's not okay to be loud or to be expressive, or whatever it is. For some people it might even be it's not okay to be fun, and it's not okay to laugh because everybody around them is miserable. And because of that, like, you get shut down when you laugh, right? Whatever it is, the same principle applies, is that you get disapproved of for authentically expressing yourself, specifically as a very young person, specifically, well, very young, in your childhood, okay, as a kid. Usually, from what I've seen, it comes from around 0 to 8, okay? That's not like a religion, right? It can be different for some people, but usually it's around that age, right? Just kind of to put it in context for you, usually it's around that age range, okay? So during that age range, you are just, basically, first of all, you're a sponge, okay? So anything that comes at you, you just absorb, and you just take on as true, and you don't even question it, especially if it comes from people you see as an authority. That might be your parents, that might be a teacher, it might be a fucking kindergarten teacher, it might be anybody else in your family, might even just be, and this is an example from my own life, this might just be a friend that for some reason you see as above you, right? Which, funny enough, just reflecting on that might actually come from having a bigger brother. But in any case, I believe it actually does. But in any case, you express yourself authentically as a kid. Then, because you're in a social environment and we're not all very well educated on this whole topic, and it's not being taught in schools, right, which should really be the case in my opinion. But because of that, you get shut down in some cases for your authenticity. Whatever that is for you, and it's different for anybody. But the end result is the same. You're not fully authentic, you're not fully being yourself, right? And the whole being yourself thing, by the way, gets bastardized by Disney movies and the mainstream into something that it's not. Because what they say being yourself is being actually the conditioned version of yourself, the inauthentic one. They just tell you that you should stay like that. They just tell you to be an inauthentic embarrassment. Just this kind of coward, okay? Just put it like that. Hiding yourself. And hiding yourself, bringing it back, that could be behind the front of being shy, right? Or not being able to put yourself out there. This is what it used to be for me. It still comes up sometimes, right? But not a lot, okay? But this is what it really used to be for me. Being afraid of even leaving my room, for example, right? They call it social anxiety. Social anxiety, right? Like, even the label on that. Be yourself. Yeah, Samuel. Just be yourself and stay in your room and never talk to anybody. Just be yourself, man. Come on. Just be yourself. Just stay there and play Overwatch for 5 hours a day and pump down the Doritos while you're doing it. Great. Be yourself. Like, don't work on yourself and then become more confident and go travel. Okay? do all of this cool shit that you're doing. Don't do that. Just stay there. Just be yourself, right? For you as well. Just be yourself. Come on. Just stay like you are. Don't work on improving yourself. Come on. Like, who does that? Who does that? That's for losers. And don't listen to anybody that tells you to improve yourself. They're evil. They only want to sell you something. And we tell you to be yourself. We're not selling you anything. No. We don't want anything from you. It's not like you're living in a vampiric system, and literally like the sickest system ever. Like, maybe we've seen sicker systems just thinking about it, but in one of the most sick systems we've ever seen, you don't live in that, and we're not sucking your energy, right? It's not like you feel like you're not good enough, and then we put a product in between you not feeling good enough and that feeling of wholeness and confidence and freedom, and you feel like you gotta buy the product in order to feel good enough. We're not doing that. No. Just be yourself. fucking loser. Okay. What they're thinking probably, right? I'm not in their head, but it's kind of what it looks like. So don't be yourself, okay? But that's not the being yourself that I'm talking about. And I'm really going into the kind of caricature here to make that clear. Because there's a very, very, very strong distinction between you actually being your most authentic version and you being yourself, okay? Because what you think right now is yourself, probably not at all you. Not at all. And from what I've seen, even if you've worked on this, by the way, like even if you've been in personal development, and again, this is just what I've seen working with different people that have even been in personal development for a longer time, even there, you're still hiding. And I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm still hiding to some extent, probably, right? And there's probably even things that I'm not even aware of, right? That's always the crazy thing, and that's why it can always be so beneficial to get coaches. That's why I still get coaching. That's why I always have people around me and kind of that are on the same trajectory and kind of throw ideas at them, see how they react, and really get more of a objective picture, really probably the clearer overview than I could ever get for myself. Okay, that's why it's so key, because our kind of version of reality is always kind of screwed. Okay, it's always a little bit off because we have our filter. At the same time, by the way, also trusting yourself. Made another video about that. The last video, I believe, depends on how I upload them, was specifically about that and how to start trusting yourself and why that's actually the best thing you can do. But so paradox, different ways of thinking about it. But in any case, you being yourself, what it actually means is looking at where are these different blockages, right? Because in the end of the day, what happens is you, as a kid, the flow of energy that comes out of you, which is what communication and any kind of thing that you do socially in the end of the day is. It's simply a flow of energy that comes out of you, okay? At the most basic level. So any kind of these blockages, what you want to do is identify them, okay? Because what happens, you do that as a kid, and then you get the message from your surroundings that that's not okay for some reason. That some kind of your authenticity, right? Some points within your authenticity, within your authentic expression, aren't acceptable. And you can't do that if you want to survive in the environment that you're in. That's the message that you get. That might not even be the people's intentions, right? If your parents disapprove of you for being loud, for example, for whatever reason, right? If they do that, then their intention is not like, hey, let's just make them shut down for the rest of their life. It's probably not their intention. Might be even subconsciously something there, but probably not. Okay, so it's unconscious. But that's the message that you get, and that's the belief that forms, that part of you is not okay. Now again, that might be expressing yourself, right? Being expressive, which tends to lead to you being more shut down in your expression and in your confidence, right? And being more reserved, and then even calling that introverted, right? That's the funniest thing, and I used to do it too, right? You are reserved because of, and you can't fully express yourself because of these blockages, because of your social conditioning. But nowadays, people just call that introverted, which is like, that's the wildest thing ever. Like, that's totally wild. Like, if I look at all of the introverts that I worked with, that then suddenly started talking to all of these people and started being super social and getting great results from it, like, it's crazy. Okay, like, absolute and utter lie. Probably gonna make another video about that. Okay, I already made videos about that in the past, but gonna make one in a better location probably. But now, in any case, there might be that, right? There might be you being introverted, right? Or thinking that, or the symptoms of that, which is actually the blockage. That might actually also be you resisting feeling any kind of negative feelings, which then oftentimes leads to you becoming more of the people pleaser, right? Or feeling like you have to show your best face to people all the time, feeling like you have to be happy all the time or seem on top all of the time. This is actually something that I used to have and that I kind of worked my way through. I still see myself a little bit sometimes falling into it, but really I made a lot of progress. But this might also be something for you, so I'm sharing it because I believe it might be valuable. But what I had for a long time was feeling like I can't show any weakness to the world. Feeling like I can't show any kind of vulnerability. feeling like I can't, even it went as far as me being very, very tired or very, very physically exhausted and feeling like showing that to other people is not okay. And then kind of feeling like that and actively trying to change myself, right? And being like, oh no, I can't feel tired, and then acting all energetic and acting all funny, although I actually wasn't feeling like that at all. And not embracing what I was authentically feeling. Going back to non-resistance, okay? So whatever it is for you, really the way out of this is to identify all of the blockages that you might have, and there's other steps, but for this video, I believe we're going to keep it there, okay? But the most basic step, the first thing that you want to do is identify the blockages that you have. What are the different masks that you're putting on in front of the world in order to get approval? That you feel if you don't do that, right, or if you don't act a certain way, you will get disapproved of. And how you know this, by the way, again, how you can identify it is whenever you would like to do something authentically, but there's something in your body telling you, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. You know, truly, if you're truly honest with yourself, you know you would want to do something, or you know you would want to be a certain way in any kind of environment, but something in your body just kind of contracts. That's usually the feeling that you get, okay? I as well, but also, if I remember with people that I worked with, okay? So usually the feeling that you get is you contract. So that's how you can identify it. Now, from there, ask yourself, what are you trying to hide? Or what kind of image are you trying to live up to? Why is the you that you would just be right now because you feel like it, why is that not good enough? Why do you feel like that's not enough? And that already, just asking yourself that very simple question, will bring up a lot of things for you. Okay? And really in the end, the key to letting go of these things is, and here we're kind of bringing the whole thing back around, okay? Bringing it back, the key to letting go of these things is to simply stop resisting them. Meaning, the way that you let go of any of these blockages that you have is not by trying to fight them, because this is what a lot of people do, right? From what you see a lot in especially the self-help community, a lot of people try to change themselves, which in the end of again, it comes back to the whole be yourself thing. Actually, being yourself is the best thing, right? And you don't actually want to change that, but also don't fall into the trap of just staying stuck in your conditioning because you're being yourself, okay? So that's up to your discernment. But you see it a lot in self-help, that people try to change themselves, like get in a peak state, right? And like, I even love Tony Robbins, right, for example. But even that, what is that? It's just trying to change yourself on the outer, right? Like, oh, let me just put on this front because what I'm feeling right now is not okay. Let me just put a peak state, ooh, jump up and down, whatever it is. While actually what would give you freedom of that is to stop resisting what you're feeling in terms of the negative that you're feeling. And negative doesn't mean bad, by the way. That's also another key. Negative doesn't mean bad. Negative simply means that it's more a down feeling, right? Like whatever it is, you know what that is, right? You know what it feels like, sadness, fear, anything like that, okay? But it's more that kind of a feeling. Doesn't mean that it's bad, right? They're also there for a reason, but specifically, whenever you truly authentically want to do something and you feel yourself blocked by one of these emotions, that's how you know it's something that's been conditioned and it's not just the natural response, okay? Perfect example, I mean, this used to be the biggest one for me, is just approach a stranger, right? Or anybody, right? Okay, approach a stranger, all right? And if your first reaction to that is like, oh my God, again, your body getting tense, I can't do that. I can't talk to a stranger. If that's your first reaction, that's how you know it's been conditioned. Because really, if you look at it, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? That nothing. Like, nothing is gonna happen. Like, seriously, nothing is gonna happen unless you're like in a really bad part of whatever, like Mexico. Like, I traveled Mexico. There's some parts that you maybe don't want to talk to strangers to in there. Okay. Anyway, apart from these very extreme examples, right? Nothing is gonna happen, and you can apply this to your life in whatever area it is. But whenever you feel this authentic urge to do something and you're blocked from it, that's how you know it's conditioned, okay? And how you stop feeling that is paradoxically fully embracing it. So let's just take this as an example, and again, apply this to whatever applies to you, wherever you're not being fully authentic, or wherever you feel yourself being blocked in any kind of way. What you want to do is, instead of fighting it or even labeling it as bad, as a lot of self-help tries to make you do, simply fully, the next time you feel it coming up, this might even be in the situation, right, while you're talking to somebody, while you're at an event, or whenever it is, sitting in the metro, right, whatever the fuck it is, Uber, or in your Bentley, right, whatever it is, doesn't matter, by the way, because even arranging your outer circumstances doesn't do anything for that either. You're still wearing a fucking mask, and you're still not living your authentic version. And so what even is the success worth if it's not even authentic to you? I had experiences around that as well. Made other videos about that already. Probably gonna make a lot more in the future. But even with that, whatever situation it is in, whenever you feel yourself trying to change yourself, instead of even trying to fight it now that you're aware of it, why not fully actually go into it and fully embrace the feeling that you're feeling in that moment? And there, non-resistance, it's even okay if you act out that version of you, if you act out the mask, if you simply act out the inauthentic version of you. Totally okay, especially if you're starting, right? The key to this is to not resist anything that you're feeling and not resist anything that you're doing. Now, the more you even do that, what you will find is the more you simply embrace the feelings that you have. And also the key here, by the way, the other key is proactively, step by step, moving towards what you actually know is authentic to you, right? What you truly already know you want to be doing, or the way that you want to be, the way that you actually are. Moving toward that more and more and more and more, also kind of pushing yourself, not overdoing it, right? Not like, for example, if we take me as 15 years old, afraid of leaving my room, let's just say I'm not gonna go into a nightclub and talk to the most attractive person there. Like, just straight in, talk to the most attractive person there. It's probably not gonna happen to that version of me, okay? It's like, we gotta start somewhere, right? So for that version of me, probably best thing, first, leave your room. Maybe go outside, okay? And from there, we can keep going. So, whatever the state that you're in, identify it, be fully honest about it, right? Again, it doesn't do anything to change yourself, okay? Really fully embrace where you're at. That's what the first step, the very basis of any change is really about. Fully embrace where you're at. From there, you can proactively move step by step in a way where it still challenges you in the direction of being more and more authentic. And then along the way, embracing every single thing that comes up. Because that alone, that whole process alone, and what can help here a lot is to actually set a goal, a very tangible goal. This could be, business is a great one, right? Your career. This could be building the social life that you want to have. Specifically defining that and going after building it. Great way of doing this because it kind of puts tension between where you're at and where you want to go, and then you're actually driven to go somewhere, and during that journey you push yourself step by step towards an outcome that you're working towards, and during that simply all of the blockages will come up naturally. Because the funny thing is, by the way, and this is what you will find happening if you actually make the commitments to do this, what you will find happening is that we always pick the goals that bring up our shit. Okay, like we always pick the goals that bring up our deepest fears, our deepest insecurities, that challenge us the most. Because what really happens is that life, from what I've seen, you can have your own opinion on this, but life really wants to support you to become your most authentic version. And what you will also find is that the more you become your most authentic version, the better your life gets. I believe the Beatles said this, or some Beatles said it, but I really love the quote, is the more real you get, the more unreal your life gets. And I've personally seen this, okay? And you will also see this if you commit to this, right? But again, keeping on step by step, fully embracing everything, not running away from what you're feeling, not trying to change yourself. If you're anxious in a social environment, fucking go there and fully embrace being anxious. Fully embrace that. Fully even exaggerate it. That's a great thing you can do as well. This is even kind of a shtick that can, even if you do it wrongly, get you away from fully embracing how you feel. But still it can help you, is going into that situation and fully, like, going into it so much, like going into the conditioned response that you have so much, whether that's anxiety or whatever it is, being the class clown, being shut down, whatever it is, but going into that so much that it really becomes a cartoonified version of the thing that you usually do, which can also kind of snap you out in the moment. You can try this, I highly recommend you do actually, which can in the moment snap you out of it and be like, oh wow, this is actually, this is not even me. Which can, funny enough, get you to a more authentic state in that specific moment. But in any case, whatever you do, fully embrace whatever you feel along that journey. And if you do this, this is really the first step and really the basis to true confidence and to true, what I like to call, social freedom. Which is really the state of simply being able to do whatever you want to do in the world. Because really, if you look at it, any kind of lack of freedom that you might feel, any kind of area of your life, or any kind of situation where you're not doing exactly what you want to be doing, the reason for that, if you truly reflect on it, and whatever the fear might tell you, whatever the fear is, in the end of the day, the fear, and reflect on this for yourself, but I've seen this over and over and over again, the fear is actually related to what other people think of you. Even if, for example, you're in a job right now that you don't like and you would like to quit it and do something else, why don't you do it? Well, because you're actually afraid of what other people might think of you. Or you're afraid of failing and then how other people might think of you. You're afraid of failing and then being like, oh my God, what if I fail? And what's the worst case scenario? Oh, what if I end up homeless? Or I have to go back to my parents? Or, well, what would be worse? I don't even know. I don't even know, right? But whatever it is, that worst case scenario, why do you even care about that? If there wasn't anybody on the planet, there wasn't anybody, it's only you. Or you already knew that everybody would give you their approval, everybody would give you their validation no matter what, right? No matter what it is that you do. Even if you're homeless, everybody loves you and everybody cheers you on. They're like, amazing. Would you care? No. Of course you wouldn't. Because all of these fears are based on what other people think of you. So any kind of lack of freedom is really a lack of social freedom. So this process that I just kind of walked you through is really the basis. And this is really, because there's more to it, and I'm going to go way deeper in future videos on the other steps of this process and more things that you can do. But if you break the basis of it down, right, the fundament, the grounded, as you see these very grounded statues sitting here and a lot of rocks, right, like the very grounded, fundamental thing, fundamental process is what I just described to you. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is to embark on this journey. Because if you do, shit gets real, okay? Shit gets unreal. Your life gets kind of unreal, okay? The more you do it. And it might not be easy, it might not be challenging. There is a couple of shortcuts that you can take. For example, just going to people that are ahead of you on that journey and learning from them. This video, watching videos is already a great one, a great version of that. Getting coaching is another one. I don't even care if that's with me or with somebody else. Whatever it is, as long as you get help, that's amazing. If this is a goal for you, if this sounds interesting to you, if freedom sounds interesting for you, well, maybe do that, okay? It's like one person like, I want to sit in jail. Funny enough, you even saw it, right? It's crazy to what extent this actually prevails in society nowadays. Like what you saw, for example, in 2020, doesn't it occur to you now, kind of looking back at that? Like the crazy thing is, by the way, even that probably it's not even in your head anymore. Like you're not even thinking about it anymore. Like it's not even in our heads anymore that was kind of crazy, that was insane what happened there, okay? Insane! It's not even in our head anymore. But what happened there? It was literally a bunch of people, because of social fear, because of this specific thing, because of being afraid of being disapproved of, willingly putting themselves in jail. Willingly. For no reason. And you knew it. You knew that it was for no reason. And you still did it. Crazy. Or, I mean, if by now you don't know it was for no reason, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. But I believe anybody that's still watching this after even 30 minutes probably knows what's going on because you have an attention span, okay? So props for you. But what happened there? Willingly putting ourselves in jail because you're simply afraid. So, and I feel like I end any video with this almost, but really, this is even the deepest reason, or one of the deeper reasons why I even do this, or why I personally believe that this area and this content is so important, is that if we don't work on this, if you don't work on this, you're screwed. Like, you're literally screwed, dude. Or woman, whatever. Zer. You're screwed. Even look at that. Censorship. Changing what you actually want to say, right? Platform that we're on. But on the other hand as well, not just looking at the negative, if we work on this, if you do work on this, as I said, shit gets really, really, really good. Okay? And you might just go to Mexico, go to a country where it's way freer and you don't have to put yourself in jail for a sickness, right? Like, you don't have to put yourself in jail. You can just do whatever you want, basically. Some restrictions. You can just do whatever you want. Instead of sitting in a cold country, or might not even be cold, Australia, for example, but sitting in some country in your room, like watching Tiger King. Right? You could also do that if you simply make the commitment to work on this. Or go ahead, let yourself be put in jail. Go into the metaverse, right? Amazing. You're already on the trajectory to it, okay? Coercing you here to do what I say. Okay, anyway, it's your choice in the end of the day. And also, your way of seeing it. But, this is just what I see. I believe this is true. You can believe whatever you want. I would encourage you to embark on this journey. It gets really, really, really good in every area of your life. Because really what I believe we strive for, everybody, more than anything almost, is freedom. So I hope you attain that, okay? And I'm looking forward to giving you more and more and more and more content around this, and better and better and better content to make the journey as fast as possible for you, and hopefully faster than mine, because I wasted a lot of time, okay? Like, it doesn't have to take you 6 years to get to like this basic level of freedom. right? Or to get to a level of social freedom. It doesn't have to take you 6 years, okay? From what I've seen, you can literally do it in a couple of months. Sometimes in a couple of weeks, depending on where you're at, okay? But it doesn't have to take long, all right? So I hope you come on this journey with me. You're along for the ride, and then I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I don't have an upload schedule. Just dropping the best stuff that I can give you in front of the best locations that I can give you, okay? Literally traveling all around the world right now and shooting videos. My intention is shooting videos in front of the best locations, so you're gonna see more of that. And then I'll see you in the next one. Also, feel free to connect with me on Instagram.